So today I'm out in PA public land and had the same thought I always do. Why does East Coast Overland suck?
All right, so today I'm actually at one of my favorite places around my area. It's an old quarry that was abandoned, I don't know, like probably 60, 70 years ago, and it's now a state game lands. It's a different world out here. It kind of reminds me of out west with the gravel and the sand. It's really cool. And the whole premise of this video is not to complain about East Coast. East Coast is amazing, West Coast is amazing. They're both very cool and interesting places. They both have their pros and cons. But today I'm gonna explain why I think East Coast kind of sucks. And I'm saying that because I've been overlanding for the past, I don't know, few months. I've only gotten into it recently. And I just want to kind of give my initial thoughts on the whole thing. I've been out west. That was, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago before I even got into this. So I'm kind of basing this video off of people I've talked to and people I know who have done overlanding out west and just the videos I've seen and the cool stuff I've seen. Obviously that's not everything, but I want to kind of explain why I got to this point and how I think East Coast can change. So I think one of the #1 reasons why East Coast Overland can suck is bad culture. And what I mean by that is everybody enjoys going mudding, going rock crawling, and I enjoy that too. I have no problem with that. But I think the big problem with that is everybody enjoys going to these small parks, and there's all these dudes there trying to do rock climbs and just kind of like show off a little bit, which again, I have no issue with. I've been there. But nobody really cares about going somewhere for the point of a destination. They're just kind of there to just, I guess, trash your vehicle, and I've done that too. But ever since I was a teenager, I've gone to these parks. I started with four-wheelers and eventually got to full size. And I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, but after a few four-wheeler accidents, I was kind of getting frustrated with it. And I just kind of looked around and saw like everybody's there just to, I guess, trash your vehicle. And I got to the point where I was just kind of done because I was going there and it was cool, like it's cool scenery. But in these small parks, you can't go very far. And that's ultimately what I want to do. I want to be able to travel far off-road. I think that's the biggest reason. I just want to be able to go see stuff. So I'm gonna keep walking and we'll get to the second one. All right, and reason #2, and this is an important one, is the lack of public land. Now I'm gonna throw some statistics up on the screen, and these numbers, basically what they mean is the percentage on the left is the percent of public land in the state, and PA is actually 16%, which is pretty good compared to other East Coast states. There's some that are a little bit higher. But compared to out west with the BLM lands where it's just massive areas where you can just go, it's pretty small. And also there's another aspect to that where there's a lot of public places that you can't drive vehicles off-road. It's mainly for hunting because PA is a big hunting state. And of the spots where you can actually drive off-road, it's not that cool. There is some cool spots, but it's just a lot of woods with no destination. You're just kind of driving through state forest roads. And again, that's a lot of fun. I do enjoy doing that, but it's just not as cool as out west. But I'm gonna get the drone up right now and then we're gonna dive into the next 3, which are a little bit lesser on the list, but they're still very important for why East Coast overlanding can suck. All right, reason #3, the spots are usually pretty busy. And by that, I mean state game lands or state forest land or whatever you want to call it. The camping spots themselves are pretty busy. Now, I didn't realize this until recently. People have always told me that, but I only started going back in October. So by then it was already kind of dying down and nobody was really out camping because it was cold. But recently I just went out and it was warm out. It was probably in the 60s or 70s back in, I think it was early June. and there's people everywhere. And it was kind of annoying because we were right off the road and the camping spot wasn't that good. It was very close to the road, and especially if you're camping in a tent or you're like overlanding, the vehicle's usually parked pretty close to the road, and it can just kind of be a pain because you hear people driving by all day and even all night. And that actually brings us to reason number 4, which the whole state forest camping is very regulated. You have to get permits to camp out, which I can sort of understand in order to kind of like claim your spot. But there's a lot of other states where you don't have to go through the whole process, because if you don't know, it is a process. You do have to go online and you have to look through the map and find spots and then send them in and get them approved within like 3 or 4 days. And it can be a pain because sometimes I'm just like, hey, I want to go out, but I don't have a permit. And especially this time of year, you probably will get caught without a permit. There's also a lot of campfire bans, which I realized is a yearly thing that in, I think it's March through May, there's a statewide campfire ban. You cannot have campfires. And I understand that it is fire season, and I looked at the stats, and yes, there's a lot of fires during that time, but there is a way to have a responsible campfire. And I think it's the point that kind of frustrates me, because there's some days where it's wet out and you can have a fire safely. And with that, it is usually patrolled pretty well, because again, last time I was there was quite a few brush fire trucks that went by just kind of patrolling the area, which, hey, I get, they're doing their job. They're supposed to, you know, make sure there's no fires, but it's also kind of annoying because I'm trying to get away from people when I go primitive camping, and it's kind of hard to do when there is people everywhere. So like I said, those last 2 are kind of short ones, and they are important to why it can suck, but it's not the main reason. But if you guys have any more arguments against what I said, write those down in the comments below. Again, I'm not hating on anybody for rock crawling or mudding. I love doing it too, but I think there is a shift that needs to happen for overlanding in the East Coast to be able to find cool spots. And I think the big thing, especially in my area, is opening up logging roads in public lands to be able to roam and just drive to find cool spots. But anyways, I know I've said I wanted to make this video for months now, and I finally made it. So I'll probably add to it in the future and make like a full video. This is kind of a short video, just my initial thoughts on the whole thing. And once I'm in it for a little bit longer, once I go out west, I then can compare them. As of right now, it's kind of hard to compare them, but I'll see you in the next one.